Skenes Day once again in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That is Paul Skenes, the #1 overall pick from this past summer, now making another start for the Pirates. And as Mark Zinno brought our attention to in our previous segment, with Skenes on the bump, the Buccos are booked as a slight favorite over the LA Dodgers. It's -112 for Pittsburgh, -104 on the other side for LA. Yesterday, the Dodgers, a hefty road favorite inside PNC. It was an all-time pitcher's duel. Tyler Glasnow on one side for the Dodgers actually recorded the loss because Jared Jones on the other rookie hurler for Pittsburgh was sensational. 6 innings of shutout baseball, and that was really it. Jack Sawinski, a solo shot against Tyler Glasnow. That was the only run of the game. Pittsburgh victorious 1-0. Zeno, in this spot, yeah, we know the atmosphere around Paul Skenes, but this would be the third time only the third time for the Dodgers in what is going to be their 63rd game of the season as an underdog. That almost feels too ripe to pass up.
That's why I didn't. The other times were April 28th on the road against the Blue Jays with Kevin Gausman on the mound. And the other time was May 5th at home against the Braves, against Max Fried, who coincidentally, James Paxton started that game, and the Dodgers won. Now, I'm not a huge fan of James Paxton. I mean, talk about Fugazi. Oh, my God, are his numbers ugly. Like, this is not a guy that should have a 5-0 record at this point in time, given the numbers that he's putting up. There's like a major walk problem. When you walk 28 guys in 52 innings, that's better than one every other inning. You shouldn't be 5-0, especially when your whip is approaching 1.4. So it scares me a little bit to back the Dodgers here. But the other part of this, too, is that Skenes has faced, like, the Cubs twice as the only semi-legitimate lineup. The Giants stink, and the Tigers are not a very good lineup either. Sorry, I forgot who the fourth one was. So he's going to face a legitimate lineup for the first time in his career. And welcome to the bigs, kid. We're not going to Kennedy Carter, Caitlin Clark, knock him dead kind of deal, but they should be able to knock him around a little bit.
There you go. Talking about knocking them around 210 and maybe knocking Houston out of the playoff race here is what St. Louis was trying to do. It didn't happen last night. The bats broke out in a big way for the Astros. But let's take a look at this. 973, 974, 2:10 p.m. start. Michaelis versus Blanco, and a heavy favorite here for Houston today at a -162 price, a total of 8.5. Can Houston try to claw back into that race with a dub today here?
I would look at their team total over. I don't always like to play in the spots where teams are going for sweeps. I'd rather play on the team that's, trying to avoid being swept, because sweeps don't happen all that often in Major League Baseball. But it is Miles Mikolas and his 5.54 ERA and his 1.32 whip and his, 10 home runs that he's given up this year seem like a good thing for a Houston Astros team that is one of the absolute very best teams at hitting the baseball in their home ballpark. I think they're number 2 in batting average. They're number 1 in OPS and number 1 in WRC plus at home. They've got an incredibly low K rate. So I don't want to get involved with sort of playing Houston as a favorite here to win it. I would just probably take their team total and go over, and you probably get a little bit more of a manageable number there than the -170 that's floating around.
Zeno, we have a saying on this show. Donnie is ready to stick the fork in the Houston Astros. So when Houston wins a game, we hide the fork. And the Stros have won 2 games to keep that fork in the cupboard for the Astros this week against the St. Louis Cardinals. That game, one of 6 we have during the afternoon hours on this Wednesday MLB slate. Another one, the first game of the day in Fenway. It's an even pick'em. The Braves taking on the Red Sox. Yesterday it was Max Fried and 13 strikeouts as Atlanta won 8-3 over the Sox in Fenway. Even pick'em, -108 now on both sides. The updated numbers for this game in Beantown. Who gets a win?
If you guys could spell the last name of the Atlanta starter, I'll buy you a cup of coffee next time.
Ben loves him. Ben loves him.
CHWELLENBACH. And you might be saying, Ben, you have your computer in front of your face. You could have spelled Spencer Schwellenbach's name, and we wouldn't know. But I would know, because he's the 2021 Big Ten Baseball Player of the Year from your Nebraska Cornhuskers. What?
That's right.
That was correct.
You are right. You are right. You are 100%.
Oh.
I did forget for a moment when I chided Spencer Schwellenbach last week that Ben had to defend his Big Ten honor. But Not a spot where I want to play on Atlanta here. Against Schwellenbach, he's got some more polishing to do.
All right, listen, vanilla sweet cream cold brew grande. I could pick it up from the corner of 35th and 7th at the Starbucks if you wouldn't mind. I'll get it in like, I don't know, like an hour. No soy milk for me. That's for you, DRS. Mark Zinno, we appreciate the time. As always, more of the early line next.